Albuquerque song from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia at en.wikipedia.org. Albuquerque is the last song of Weird Al Yankovic's 1999 album Running with Scissors. At 11 minutes and 23 seconds, it is the longest song Yankovic has ever recorded. With the exception of the choruses and occasional bridges, the track is mostly a spoken word narration about a made up person's life in Albuquerque, New Mexico, after winning a first class one-way airplane ticket to the city. According to Yankovic, the song is in the style of the hard-driving rock narrative of artists like the Rockburns, Mojo Nixon, and George Thorogood. Writing. In a video on GQ, where he broke down his most iconic songs, Yankovic said he had finished writing the song and needed to cut it down to song length, but then decided, no, I'm not going to cut it down. I'm just going to do the whole thing. Yankovic set off to write the lengthy song, considering it as the final track for Running with Scissors. The long, meandering story was not expected to be popular, and instead, Yankovic wanted to compose a song that's just going to annoy people for 12 minutes, making it feel like an odyssey for the listener after making it through the end. Yankovic described writing the song as free-flowing, writing down a great deal of material he thought would be funny, including previous anecdotes he had recorded, and trimming it down to form a lengthy, semi-cohesive story. The lyrics were too long to include in the liner notes for the album, saying that the listener will have to figure it out for themselves. The full lyrics were posted to Yankovic's website. Plot. The song begins with Al talking about the traumatic childhood, living in a box under the stairs in the corner of a basement at a house half a block down the street from Jerry's bait shop, where he is force-fed sauerkraut by his mother, who claims that this is for his own health, until he turns 26 and a half years old. Enraged, Al swears that he will leave his mother's house, soon winning a radio contest about guessing the amount of molecules in Leonard Nimoy's butt. Despite being off by 3, he wins the grand prize, a first-class one-way ticket to Albuquerque, New Mexico. After a miserable flight experience, Al's plane crashes into a hillside. He is the only survivor since he was the only passenger who followed proper safety precautions. After spending 3 days crawling to Albuquerque while carrying his heavy luggage, Al checks into a Holiday Inn, but a big fat hermaphrodite with a flock of seagulls haircut and only one nostril barges into his room, steals his prized snorkel, and after a flight, flees. Al vows to bring the thief to justice, but first decides to buy donuts. At the shop, he asks for many types of donuts and pastries, only to be told individually each one is sold out. He finally settles for a box of 1 dozen starving crazed weasels, which attack him. When running around town screaming for help, he meets the woman, Zelda. The two fall in love, marry, buy a house, and have children, but eventually break up after Zelda asks Al if he would like to join the Columbia Record Club. Soon, Al achieves his lifelong dream, a part-time job at the Sizzler. The job is eventful, and Al leaves several amusing anecdotes, such as cutting a guy named Marty's arms and legs off with a chainsaw and biting a homeless man's jugular vein before losing his train of thought. He then circles back and says that the entire point of the song was to relight his hatred of sauerkraut. The song ends with Al telling the listener that even during an existential crisis, they can still take solace in the existence of a little place called Albuquerque. Recording and performance. At the end of the song, around 11 minutes and 20 seconds after the music ends, faint laughter can be heard in the background. As Yankovic says, that's Jim West laughing. I thought it would be a good way to end the album. He's cracking up because of the stupid chord he played at the end of the song. Reception. Contrary to Yankovic's beliefs that the song would not get popular, It was one of the best received songs from the album, and Yankovic incorporated the song as an encore to his tours. When performing this song live, Yankovic has been known to extend the song by listing of more types of donuts, listing more names Zelda calls Yankovic, not telling the amusing anecdote at first, and even starting the song over completely after he loses his train of thought. When performing this song live in Canada, Al is known to replace the dream job at Sizzler with one at Tim Hortons, a Canadian donut shop. During the guitar solo of the third chorus, Yankovic sometimes introduces Wes eagerly, but Wes plays Mary Had a Little Lamb instead of the real solo. Yak acts disappointed, and Wes walks away acting ashamed. As of the 2022 tour, Yankovic stops the song after using the word hermaphrodite to acknowledge that the word was now considered a slur and the song was a product of an earlier, more ignorant time. The 2004 video game Doom 3 contains a Tim reference to the song. An email in one of the in-game PDAs mentions a character whose arms and legs were dismembered by the Albuquerque capacitor, therefore giving the name Torso Boy. Personnel. According to the liner notes of the essential Weird Al Yankovic, lead and background vocals, group vocals, hand claps. Jim West, guitars, group vocals, hand claps. Steve J, bass guitar, group vocals, hand claps. John Bermuda Schwartz, drums, tambourine, group vocals, hand claps. This recording is licensed under the This article and recording is licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 4.0 International License.